Nobody there.
Nobody there.
Nobody there.
Okay, we got something there. What is that? What is that? That we would hear female voices up in this area. When you mentioned the female presence.
Hi everybody, welcome to episode 3 of Twin Ports Paranormal. I'm here with the guys. My name is Victoria Main. I'm here with Harley, Steve, and Rick, the Twin Ports Paranormal Adventurers. And today we're going to be talking about their time at Goin Postal, a building in the north end of Superior, which was built in 1890. So it's an older building. And there's a lot of stuff going on in there. So who wants to start off talking about Goin Postal?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm a true believer that everything that happens for a reason. I don't believe in coincidence. What these clients were experiencing beforehand and what led us to get there and what we ended up finding out there, you know, also is true. To me, is it had to happen, you know. This is also going to be like an educational thing for people and other investigators, you know, and we'll talk about that as time goes on.
So the first clip we're going to see, now you had with you Lady O'Collett. She goes by Lady O a lot. And she was with you when you went to Goin Postal, correct?
Correct. We use her at just at the beginning. Mm-hmm. She'll do her walkthrough and tell us what she thinks is going on, and then she ends up leaving and we take over. Yep.
That was a very interesting deal with Lady O. She brought up a lot of things about the articles in the building, the games downstairs, radios. There's so many artifacts there that could hold character.
There's artwork there.
There's artwork there. Yes, there's like I said, games. They have a studio down there, and there's a lot.
You go in every room. There's objects in there. I mean, they're also collectors.
Yeah, they have objects from probably 90 years ago that are all over that enormous structure.
And again, that's an older building with several floors in it. And you Lady O talked to these guys about, you know, and you guys have experienced how sometimes when you have a building that's full of stuff from different eras and all over the place, that stuff can come with some, you know, some energy. So here's, this first clip is going to be Lady O talking to the folks, or the gal, I think is in this clip, from Goin Postal. So we can roll that whenever we're ready.
All right.
Have you heard of a show called Haunted Collector? See, this is objects. Because what's the anomaly here? That's what I look like. What makes this place? Whoa. Look at all this stuff. And then you get downstairs, it's even, every one of those jukeboxes has a story to tell. Right. Yeah, every one of those games has a story to tell.
Amps up there.
And a lot of people, when you play a game, your energy rises, your adrenaline rises. That's competition. I'm going to beat this guy. I got to beat this guy. So this is raised energy. You have probably the widest variety of stuff of any place in this town. That's what makes it unique. And you don't know really where all this shit came from.
A little editing there on the language. God bless Lady O.
Yes.
So, so yeah, they've got three or four floors, right? Full of stuff.
Well, no, actually, they have apartments too.
Yeah, there's apartments upstairs.
Okay.
And then Goin Postal is the ground floor, and we did the ground floor and the basement.
Okay.
And they're enormous spaces full of antiques.
Wow. Okay.
It's a rather fantastic place to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there for a couple of, they're big supporters of the arts, and I've been there for a couple different things. So you guys were there. Now, one of the things that the owners had talked to you about was a guy who was frequently seen on the premises by a variety of people, the musicians who were using the studio, visitors, whatever, and the folks, of course, who run the place. So the next clip we have is, it's you, I think, you and Rick, downstairs. Now the owners Can you talk a little bit about what the owners had said about this person
I
thing?
can. Over the number of years that they've run the business, there have been several people that have seen this figure walk by, and he looks like a maintenance man. He's got a long, dirty kind of coat and stuff.
And they always seen that. They always seen that in their studio.
Yes,
right at the studio.
It always passed from one room to the other, and like I said, several people have seen it over the years. And Lady O brought up a point that was really good. You know, she said it sounded like a loop. You know, which was a residual thing that he'd be walking by. You know, and they'd see him. But what happened when I interviewed them, I asked them, I said, "What do you think make this guy break the loop to come upstairs and see you?"
Plus she also seen a lady and a child
yeah.
up there that was.
On the main floor.
And we're gonna get to the reason why
Yeah.
we think Phil broke the loop. And
Yeah.
they named this person Phil.
Yes.
I don't know who named him, but so this next clip that we have is you two downstairs, and you're right in Phil's area.
Right in the
there.
path. Yep.
That's right. Okay, we can roll it whenever we're.
Now it's going back down again. But I just left the dark room and came here. That's when this exploded.
Right here,
As I
right in this
started turning
pathway.
the corner, I break the threshold, bam, gone.
And is this where they see that guy?
This and then right there.
Okay, so it's like he walks through this.
And I want to say he just went by because I just had a cold breeze go left to right. Yeah, and I got
the hair standing right now.
I got the hair standing too. And that was just a cold breeze.
It's weird. And I'm not saying it because you just said it,
Yeah.
but I felt that breeze too. But I was just thinking, you know, is there something around me that's...
No, that was just unusual because as we were talking about him, all of a sudden, woof.
So yeah, so you were feeling Phil doing his loop.
Well,
downstairs.
I can tell you, as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of hair. I was wearing a hat in there, but it literally felt like I had the wind blowing through my hair, and it was ice cold, and it just quick, woof, right past me, and then it caught Rick. And I'm talking about it keeps going up because I have a millimeter which detects electromagnetic field, and the numbers kept going up. And then all of a sudden they disappear, and then I'd go somewhere else, and boom, they'd go up again because I was kind of tracking his path. And then it's like he was getting tired of me, so woof, he just went right past me, and it was insane.
Yeah, and you had the hair standing up.
Oh yeah.
And there's there's that basement down there is a decent temperature. It's comfortable. They have a studio they practice in up to 6 hours a night or a couple times a week or whatever it is. They're down there and it's comfortable to walk through. But have an ice cold breeze hit you, it's not right.
Yeah.
And there's no windows and that down there, and
literally there's no real true ventilation down there.
Yeah.
And we are in dead center of the building. So we're not near anything that could have caused a breeze of any kind because there was no breeze coming from any room. Where the furnace is down there actually had a door closed.
big steel door.
Yeah, it was a big door and it actually had a weight to keep it closed. So when you opened it, the weight would drop and it would shut the door. So you didn't have breeze coming from that room. So there was no explanation on why this breeze had gone past.
Wow, that's weird. So and your skin is telling you
Oh, yeah.
at the same time your meters are
Yep.
Oh yeah.
going off. That was cool. I like that one. So you're walking around the basement down there, and you found some kind of weird stuff with this one little kind of archway area where there was a mortar thing. The mortar was weird or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, there's
like
two of them.
Like it was more recent or something.
Yeah.
It
So talk about
sounded
that.
shallow when you stepped on it. It sounded shallow. If you tapped your foot on it,
Like it's hollow under there.
It's
We
sounded
were
hollow.
we were curious because at the base of those there's holes in the wall. So we were curious on whether or not those were airports, like to breathe the air into that area, or if it was
Water drainage.
or a water drainage, or even if there was burnt materials, they would get pushed into those slots and they drop below the floor. So we didn't know we still really don't truly know what it was. But it was a very unique structure.
And you kind of felt like there was something underneath the basement floor level.
Oh, yeah.
In that area, the basement floor was hollow.
Then there's-
You could step and you could hear the hollow coming from the side of the walls.
Well, there's also a spot in the basement too where you see the top of an opening of a door that's only a few feet off the ground.
Yeah.
You know, so
Clearly there was a
clearly
lower
there was
floor
something
at
there.
some point.
There was,
Yeah,
there was passageways earlier in the city's time
Okay.
where either some were coal chutes or some were passageways where you could go between buildings. The city was not known for, in 1890s, for great snow removal. So whenever it built up, they had to get through someplace. So at times you find buildings with closed doorways were actually pathways out.
Tunnels going from building to building.
Yes.
Right.
Interesting. So you're in this area of the basement, and you're kind of feeling the hollow floor, and you're seeing the weird mortar on the lower part of the wall that looks new,
it looks newer. Yep.
which
And
is sort
we
of
don't know
backwards,
why.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Should be the other way around.
Yes.
So in the course of this conversation, wondering about what these sort of behind the wall and beneath the wall spaces could have been used for, Lady O is with you, and our next clip is her talking about a theory about what possibly may have gone on in some of these spaces. So we can roll that.
Do you know that when the Spanish flu hit in 1918, that there were so many people that lost family members that they couldn't get them to the coroner, and they would rely on neighbors to dispose of the bodies?
No.
And it was
That was quite common.
It was a common practice because there was just too many.
And there was a lot of Spanish flu
And so they would
outbreak in
look for
Superior.
people that had these kinds of places. And I'm not saying the person that was here was evil or anything. They were just taking care of things.
Yeah.
It wasn't illegal. And by the way, they didn't even, when I was in school, Rick,
Yeah.
they didn't even have that Spanish flu in the history books. It was so horrific that people thought, we're not going to talk about it. Only in my later years, when I was 40-something, did I realize every family lost a family. Every family lost someone. It was that millions died.
Right.
And it was so bad, that's what started the Ouija board in the church basements. Church ladies used the Ouija board because they tried to contact their lovely daughter or something, because this brought about a resurgence in spirituality, and then came the frauds and the table tipping and the fake mediums and all that.
I love that clip where she sort of the resurgence of spirituality there, and it's true. I mean, right in that time period, especially during that Spanish flu epidemic, man, people whipped out people got those Ouija boards out. And,
Well, the Ouija boards didn't come into play until the 1890s.
yeah,
So, which was right around that time period.
right.
And that's exactly what they were used for, was for families to contact those they had lost, because at that point, death wasn't something they feared, it's something they had to deal with. So the Ouija board was made for that purpose and that purpose only.
Yeah,
So that makes a lot of sense what she said there.
yeah, and also the charlatans too, taking advantage of people's grief during that time when so many families lost folks. So we got some EVPs too and I want to talk a little bit. This first one was apparently when you guys were still upstairs and you were just kind of getting organized in things. And
Yeah, it was, everybody was talking. You could barely understand what everybody's saying. And they were discussing, a beverage or coffee or a beer or whatever, just to kind of tone us down and get us, cooled off a little bit. And I said somebody said something about water. I said, that sounds good to me. And all of a sudden we get this, why? But at the very beginning, there is also a part that is not recognizable to a point. Maybe the public can figure it out for us. But we did get a why on that, and it was confusing, like I said, nobody could understand. I can't understand. People can't understand. It's so many people talking at one time, but the why comes out.
Yeah.
right, so you essentially the folks at Goin Postal had asked if you guys wanted a beer, and you declined and said you would have water. And to me,
Or
when
coffee.
or coffee. And when I heard this kind of sigh, this, and then why, which I thought was hilarious. I busted out laughing when I heard it.
Yeah.
When we can, let's play that first EVP. And you hear that first one. I hear that first one to that.
It's just it's a deep sigh.
Yep.
Oh, why?
I wish I could.
Maybe why we declined.
Why was it?
Right, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like you could have had a beer. Why
Right.
did you have coffee and water? I thought that one was funny.
Yeah.
And I don't know that first part. Maybe there's a word in that first part, but I couldn't catch it. To
yeah,
me,
we
it
couldn't.
just sounded like a very frustrated and exasperated sort of sigh.
There's so many times that we get EVPs, and for me to go through the audio at home, I have to have earphones on. I'm partially deaf, so I have to figure this out. And then in the meantime, if I catch something, I'm telling Rick about it, and I send it his way, and he says, "What do you think it says?" And I send it to him, and all of a sudden he tells me, "Well, this is what I hear right here," and it's like, okay, now I see it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm basically catching the outline of it, and then
He catches them. Yeah,
But the
we're gonna help-
definition-
Yeah, what it means, or what they're saying, so.
Yeah, interesting. So that was right when you guys were getting rolling, you know, getting organized and stuff, which is why everybody's talking.
The
Then,
second one that you were talking about with Lady O earlier, that was rather interesting because she has a way of, I don't know if she has a way of bringing these things out, because if she shows up and something goes on, she could draw a
Yeah.
spirit.
Oh, yeah.
And when she's describing what's going on from World War II, and to this present time now, she is getting a response. So it's going to be interesting to hear.
Yeah, they need to hear this.
so she's talking about some photos that her dad was talking
Right.
that were in their house, and her dad fought in World War II, and so he was telling her, you know, this happened to this guy and this happened to this guy, and they're looking at these photos. So let's roll that second EVP.
When on V-Day, when it was the end of the war, I went into our spare room, normal temperature, shut the door. There's no heater in that room. It's just there isn't. So we keep the door open so heat goes in there. Shut the door. I could feel the temperature rising. As I'm looking at these pictures of these guys, I look at the back and Dad goes, "This guy died 1 week after this photo was taken in France. This guy died." So I'm saying, "Hi Joe, how you doing?" And I keep setting the pictures up around me, and I'm feeling really hot. Keep setting the pictures up around me, and I'm feeling. Keep setting the pictures up around me, and I'm feeling. Keep setting the pictures up around me, and I'm.
It was right after she said, you know, she
Hi,
said,
Joe.
Hi, Joe.
No
then
interruption.
You get two highs.
Hi.
There was no interruption in her conversation whatsoever. Nobody stepped in.
Yeah.
But the EVP came through. It's just as if she was saying hi, or whoever was saying hi to Lady O, thinking that maybe that she could make some kind of contact.
Yeah.
You know, because she's got
She's
quite the
amazing.
ordeal going.
She's
She's got a
amazing
lot
woman.
going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you guys feel like when Lady O is with you, do you feel like there's maybe a little uptick in activity, or?
There's a lot that she verifies. I mean, look at the raspberry. 99% of everything that we got are EVPs or described, you know, as we went through an investigating. She pegged every single one. So it doesn't surprise me at all if she was to come forward and things were to vamp up. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
Okay, now the third EVP we have. When and where?
So I was down doing my initial walkthrough, because I usually will go through and try to sense anything that I'm feeling in the building, and then I also have the electromagnetic field detector with me.
like, so let me interrupt. Steve is usually our initial guy for going through, we don't even really get going until Steve does his thing. Because he senses a lot of stuff that's going on, and it's always good to see when he comes back and relays to us.
I'm not a psychic in any means, but I feel I'm an empath. I can sense things around, and I get feelings of what's actually happening in a
little
place.
bit of sensitive
Yeah.
going on.
And I walked through the basement, and I was down there by myself. And a lot of times when I start out, I get really cold when I first go on my first walkthrough. This one, I was feeling normal temperature, but on that electromagnetic field detector, it also shows temperature. The temperature went up to 160 degrees, which it was not 160 degrees in that basement. So I came upstairs and I told these guys what I had, that my electromagnetic field detector said 160 degrees, and there's no way it's 160 degrees, and then that's when we get this next EVP.
Okay. So this is as you're coming up the stairs, basically.
And I was telling them
Yep.
what happened.
Okay.
I went up to 116 degrees. And God knows it ain't 116 degrees down there. Get up. 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 Get up.
I got something to say about that. You sensed 160 degrees. Our future conversation is going to be where problem lied in this ordeal. Rick will get into that. And the EVP say, get up. It's, to me, it's...
Telling you to get out of the basement.
It's, to me, yes, it sounds to me like it's a warning, or it's trying to say something in the effect of the temperature and the individual there, which probably was Phil.
So let's talk a little bit about
Yes.
why you might have been warned to get out of the basement.
Well, first of all, Harley, if you want to just tell them a little bit of some of their experiences beforehand.
Well, they were having some problems. They were the band to get together. They were having a few issues and stuff, and things are getting irritable, on their practice nights and stuff. And Becky had been downstairs. She liked to go down and take a nap down there, once in a while. She gets comfortable. Well, she fell asleep down there for a number of hours, and then she got up. She was sick.
So they're experiencing some physical symptoms.
Physical symptoms. And they went downstairs. They just got done practicing. It was about 12:30, I guess it was. And then for a few hours, they decided, they saged. And they said it took like 20 minutes. But it actually was a few hours.
When they came
they
upstairs.
They had a time loss. They could remember, they come upstairs, it was like almost 4 in the morning.
Yeah, it was a roughly 4-hour time loss.
So they had that, and that really bothered them.
So you guys took an unusual step, a little out of your wheelhouse, right? Your normal wheelhouse.
Well, we didn't intentionally.
Marty was the one that felt that something was up. Rick, you want to get in on that?
Well, even like Steve brought up when we were talking earlier, that there was times when we were there, we felt like the spirits were, sort of avoiding us.
Yeah, they
It's
were
like,
trying
you're
to
not-
stay away
you're-
from
yeah,
us.
you're here, we need you here to find something, type of thing. And, well, Marty ends up going into this room, and it was the furnace room. And we got a picture of that. I don't know if you have a picture.
I saw the picture.
Yeah, and pipe on that stove was completely off, and that was just one of a couple places in that room that there's leaks.
Yep.
And then they also had a chimney issue.
The main exhaust pipe was pulled off of the furnace by about 3 centimeters. So the furnace was pumping straight exhaust,
Carbon dioxide.
carbon monoxide,
Carbon
Yep.
monoxide, excuse me.
into that house or into that building
Okay.
at extremely high levels.
And well, this is a room too. Also, it's the one behind that steel door with the weight. And my understanding is they don't even go in that room.
No.
So I mean, it's something they don't regularly check or
Sure.
anything. And even Steve, when he first came in that place, another thing, you got sick.
Yeah,
immediately. You had
I
to
got
go outside.
nauseous and
Yeah.
I just had a smashing headache.
So to bring this back a little bit full circle, this sort of ties in with Phil,
Yes.
our friend who has a kind of loop that he walks downstairs. But they started to see Phil upstairs, which really flipped out the owners.
She had mentioned to me that she had told Phil, this individual standing there, so can I help you? We're closed. And then he just turned around and walked away and poof, gone.
In that same time period too is when she seen at the entrance door a woman and a child that
Another
looked,
one with another woman.
yeah,
And they
looked-
were in turn of the century clothing.
yeah, and they looked confused, disoriented, and she again, can I help you? And then all of a sudden they're gone.
But they had come off the street.
So can spirits warn you?
The spirits had walked in.
The spirits had walked in from the street
Yeah.
and were standing at the door. And
Wow.
that's when she asked them, can I help you? And they, poof, gone. And she had said they were as clear as you and I.
So when you discover this carbon monoxide leak, and then it might be, so the owners kind of made a connection. They said, we think Phil came upstairs and broke out of his loop, Phil the maintenance guy, to let us know that we had a real problem downstairs.
And that's where it comes in. I think spirits are, they're there to warn you about something. And it was meant to happen. It was meant for us to come there.
The chronology here is basically, so these folks start experiencing an increase in strange things that are happening, that they're hearing and seeing and all this. Around the same time, they start experiencing some physical symptoms, which eventually leads them to call you because they're reaching a point where they need some answers.
Yep.
So, essentially what we have here is, we've got the step up in activity, we've got the physical problems, they call you, you come in, you discover this leak, you take a carbon monoxide detector down there in the thing.
Mind you too, this was in February.
Yeah.
So that furnace is on a lot.
And
Right.
it was pumping.
Yeah.
And, I like what Marty said, and it's sort of neat. He goes, not only do we investigate, but sometimes we save lives. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think it could have been some really bad results.
Well,
if we
yeah,
didn't find that.
obviously. So, and it's kind of interesting to think that maybe Phil, the maintenance guy, and the lady and the child that
Yep.
had never been seen before,
Right.
and Phil being out of his usual pattern, are just trying to warn these people and say, look, you got to get somebody, there's a problem
There's a
here.
problem.
Well, and I'd like to just throw in some of the symptoms that you can get from carbon monoxide, because it can happen in your own home. By this furnace pumping out all that carbon monoxide can cause hallucinations, can cause delusions, can cause nausea, dizziness, and they call it the silent killer because it will kill you if you do not get out of it. What it does is it basically puts you in an altered state of mind, which it said that people that are put under for surgery, they see things because they're in an altered state of mind. People on drugs, altered state of mind, they see things. Carbon monoxide will do the exact same thing. So they were seeing it because they were being affected by the carbon monoxide.
But they also continue to see Phil now.
Phil's
And
still there.
Right.
Yeah.
They
But
continue to see Phil.
They coexist with him now,
Okay.
and they say hello to him. So.
Yeah.
Well, we added to our equipment is a carbon monoxide tester.
And that
That's a
sounds like
must
a
now.
really good idea.
Yep, it's a must.
And
in
as
all
I had
places.
said in the first episode, all of these items that we use are used for other purposes. We come to find out that they work great for paranormal work also.
So you guys, who knows? You might have saved a life
Yeah.
in this particular investigation. So join us next time. That was episode 3, Goin Postal with the Twin Ports Paranormal guys. Thanks for watching.